There is a moment in every man's life when he realizes something terrifying. The world is not holding him back. No one is sabotaging him. There is no secret enemy pulling strings behind the curtain. The only thing standing between him and power is his lack of discipline. And that realization hurts more than betrayal ever could, because discipline does not care about your childhood, your mood, your trauma, or your potential. Discipline only asks one question every single day. Did you do what needed to be done, or did you negotiate with weakness again? Most men fail that test quietly, repeatedly, for years. Machiavelli wrote for men who wanted power in a hostile world, not comfort in a padded one. His philosophy was never about being liked. It was about surviving chaos, controlling outcomes, and mastering human nature. And the first battlefield he would tell you to conquer is not the marketplace, the hierarchy, or your enemies. It is yourself. Because a man who cannot control his impulses will always be controlled by someone else. This is why true discipline scares people. Not loud discipline, not Instagram discipline, not fake monk mode with motivational quotes and no follow-through. I am talking about cold, silent, ruthless consistency, the kind that makes people uneasy because they can feel it. They do not know how to deal with a man who does not explain himself. They do not know how to manipulate a man who does not react. They do not know how to compete with a man who never stops. That kind of discipline feels inhuman to the undisciplined. And Machiavelli would tell you that is exactly how it should feel. Most people think discipline is about habits. Wake up early, go to the gym, eat clean. That is surface level. That is hygiene. Useful, but not transformative. Real discipline is psychological violence against your lower nature. It is the ability to override emotion with command, to act without motivation, to move forward while everything inside you is screaming to stop. Machiavelli understood something modern self-help refuses to admit. Human beings are weak under comfort. Give them ease and they decay. Give them hardship and structure and they sharpen. Look at history. Rome fell when discipline disappeared. Sparta vanished when comfort replaced training. Empires rot from the inside long before they are conquered from the outside. The same thing happens to men. I once knew a guy who talked non-stop about his plans. Business ideas, fitness goals, new eras every month. He was always starting something, always announcing something, always telling everyone how serious he was now. 5 years later, nothing changed. Same body, same income, same excuses. Then there was another man, quiet, almost invisible. He trained when no one was watching, worked after hours, said no to nights out, disappeared for months at a time. When he resurfaced, the energy was different. His voice slowed down. His eyes stopped darting around. People leaned in when he spoke. Nothing about him was loud. Everything about him was heavy. That is the discipline Machiavelli respected. Silent power. Machiavelli wrote that men judge more by appearances than reality, because everyone can see but few can truly feel. The disciplined man flips this dynamic. He looks ordinary at first glance, but when pressure hits, when chaos enters the room, his difference becomes undeniable. This is where fear is born, not fear of aggression, fear of inevitability, because disciplined men are inevitable. They do not spike and crash. They do not burn hot and disappear. They do not rely on emotion. They show up regardless. This is why discipline is more threatening than talent. Talent can be wasted. Discipline compounds. Talent makes people admire you. Discipline makes them nervous. Think about characters in movies or anime that radiate this energy. John Wick walking into a room without raising his voice. Levi Ackerman moving with surgical precision. Thomas Shelby staring without blinking. They are not chaotic. They are controlled. Control is what people fear most. Machiavelli believed a ruler must not be ruled by emotion. He must understand it, use it, but never submit to it. Apply this inward. Your emotions are not your enemy. Your obedience to them is. The disciplined man still feels laziness. He still feels anger. He still feels doubt. He just does not let those feelings vote. Most men wake up and ask themselves how they feel before deciding how they act. That single habit destroys lives. The disciplined man reverses it. He acts first. The feelings catch up later. That is why discipline feels unnatural at first. You are overriding millions of years of survival wiring designed to conserve energy and avoid discomfort. Your brain wants ease. Discipline demands command. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Every time you hesitate, every time you delay, every time you bargain with yourself, you train your brain to disobey you. You become a weak leader ruling an unruly kingdom. Machiavelli would have removed you, so you must become ruthless with yourself before life becomes ruthless with you. This is where isolation enters the equation. Discipline cannot survive constant noise, constant validation, constant distraction. Machiavelli warned rulers not to depend on what they cannot control. Other people are not under your control. Your environment is. If your circle normalizes laziness, your discipline will erode. If your circle mocks ambition, your edge will dull. If your circle requires you to explain yourself, you are already compromised. Isolation is not loneliness, it is strategy. Every powerful man in history went through seasons of withdrawal, not because they hated people, but because they needed clarity. When you remove the noise, the truth gets louder. Your flaws surface. Your excuses echo. Your inconsistencies become impossible to ignore. Most men avoid isolation because it exposes them. The disciplined man seeks it because it sharpens him. This is why monk mode works when done correctly, not as a trend, but as a forge. You remove stimulation, you remove comfort, you remove social approval, and you force yourself to confront execution. It is brutal, it is boring, it is effective. And when you return, people feel it. They sense that you are no longer chasing attention. They sense that you are no longer available. They sense that your time has become expensive. Scarcity creates power. Discipline creates scarcity. Machiavelli famously argued that you can command obedience through fear more consistently than through kindness. People misunderstand this. Fear does not mean cruelty. It means reliability under pressure. A disciplined man is feared because he does not bend, he does not react, he does not crumble. Manipulative people hate this. They rely on emotional volatility, on guilt, on chaos. When you remove your emotional tells, you remove their leverage. This is why discipline changes how people treat you. You stop being interrupted, you stop being tested, you stop being underestimated, not because you demand respect, but because your presence enforces it. Discipline is not loud, it is unmistakable. Now comes the hardest part, standards. Most men fail not because they aim too high, but because they accept too low. They accept half effort, they accept almost, they accept comfort disguised as balance. Machiavelli studied decline. He knew decay begins when standards drop, when excellence becomes optional, when discipline becomes negotiable. Look around. This world is engineered for softness, endless entertainment, instant pleasure, zero friction. Everything is designed to dull you. Choosing discipline today is an act of rebellion. It means saying no when everyone else says yes. It means training when others rest. It means working while others scroll. Your standards will offend people. Good. Their discomfort is proof that you are not like them. Do not explain your standards. Do not justify them. Live them. The disciplined man does not argue. He executes. And eventually, something dies. The old you, the version that needed approval, the version that quit when it got hard, the version that waited for motivation. This death is not poetic. It is painful. You will lose people. You will be misunderstood. You will be labeled cold. Machiavelli would call this the cost of power. Pay it, because on the other side of that death is sovereignty. You stop fearing the future because you trust your discipline. You stop fearing failure because you know you will respond. You stop fearing judgment because you are no longer performing. You become internally governed. That is real freedom, not happiness. Freedom. A cold, quiet freedom that cannot be taken from you. They can take your money, they can take your status, they can take your comfort. They cannot take your discipline. That is your fortress. So choose comfort or command, applause or power, warmth or edge. The world is getting weaker, louder, softer. That is your advantage. Become so disciplined it scares them, not because you want to scare anyone, but because your existence exposes everything they refuse to become. The old you is finished. Now move. Thank you for watching. If you want more raw, unfiltered insights, join my free newsletter. The link is in the description. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.